How do you make progress every day, no matter what? That's the question. Because life doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't care if you're feeling tired, unmotivated, or unsure. Life moves with or without you. And the key to real success, real fulfillment, is making sure you're moving with it. Now, progress doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't need to be flashy. It doesn't even have to be obvious to anyone but you. But it must be consistent, a little bit, every day. Because the greatest transformations in life don't come from one big decision or one lucky break. They come from small, daily disciplines stacked over time. Most people are waiting for something. They're waiting for the motivation to hit, waiting for the right time, waiting until they feel ready. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. The right time? It rarely comes. And feeling ready? That's a myth. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who had the best circumstances. They're the ones who made progress despite them. So how do you do it? How do you keep moving forward when you're tired? When life gets hard? When the results aren't coming as fast as you want? That's what we're going to talk about. Not theories, not wishful thinking, but real practical ways to make sure you get something out of every single day. Because at the end of the day, progress is a decision. And once you understand the mechanics of it, once you learn how to create momentum, every single day, nothing can stop you. Progress begins with one simple shift. You must stop negotiating with yourself. Most people wake up every day and start bargaining with their own mind. Should I get up early or hit the snooze button? Should I go to the gym or skip today? Should I work on my goals or can it wait? And here's the problem. When you give yourself an option, you give yourself an excuse. Discipline is not about feeling like doing something. It's about making a commitment and sticking to it. Successful people don't debate whether they should follow through. They just do. Because when you start your day negotiating, you lose. The mind will always choose the path of least resistance. It will always favor comfort over effort. That's why you can't rely on motivation. Here's the secret. The first decision of the day sets the tone for the rest of the day. If you win the morning, you build momentum. If you lose the morning, it becomes easier to make excuses all day long. So, how do you take control all day long? Do you take control? You make your standards non-negotiable, not optional, not dependent on how you feel, just what you do. You wake up at the time you said you would. You move your body even when you don't feel like it. You work on your goals even when no one is watching. And over time, this builds something powerful, self-respect. See, confidence isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's about trust. Do you trust yourself to follow through? Most people don't. They've broken so many promises to themselves that they no longer believe their own words. But here's the good news. You can rebuild that trust. Every time you keep your word, even in the smallest way, you prove to yourself that you mean what you say. Now let's talk about something that derails progress faster than anything else. The all or nothing mindset. This is the idea that if you can't do something perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. This is dangerous because life is messy. Circumstances change. And if your success depends on perfection, you're setting yourself up to fail. The key to daily progress is this: something is always better than nothing. If you don't have time for a full workout, do 10 minutes. If you can't read for an hour, read for 5 minutes. If you don't feel like working on your business, make one phone call, send one email. Progress is about motion, and even a small step keeps you moving forward. Think about it like this. If you improve by just 1% every day in a year, you won't be 365% better. Compounding works in your favor. You'll be over 37 times better. That's the power of daily improvement. Small things add up, and eventually they create something unstoppable. It's better. Tommy, that's the power of daily improvement. Small things add up, and eventually they create something unstoppable. Now, there's one more thing that's crucial to making progress every day. You need to control your focus. Because what you focus on expands. Most people waste time worrying about things they can't control. They focus on what's missing. They focus on what's wrong. And where does that energy go? Nowhere. But the people who make progress, no matter what, they focus on what they can do, what's possible. They put their attention on action, not problems. So ask yourself, what are you focusing on every day? Are you focused on what you can't do, or are you looking for ways to move forward? Because progress isn't a matter of luck. It's a matter of choice. There's something powerful about momentum. Once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. Once you break through resistance, you realize it was never as big as you thought. The problem? Most people never reach that breakthrough point because they let hesitation creep in. Hesitation is a killer. It doesn't just slow you down, it stops you entirely. Think about the times you hesitated in life. Maybe you wanted to speak up, but you waited too long and the moment passed. Maybe you wanted to take action, but you second-guessed yourself, and suddenly the opportunity was gone. Progress requires decisiveness, not perfect decisions, just decisions. You don't need all the answers to move forward. You just need to take the next step. And the best way to beat hesitation? Shorten the gap between thought and action. Here's what I mean. The longer you think about doing something, the more likely you are to talk yourself out of it. So, stop giving yourself time to overanalyze. If you decide you're going to do something, do it immediately. Count down from 5 and move. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't let fear creep in. Just go. Because here's the truth. Action builds confidence, not the other way around. Most people think they need to feel confident before they act. But confidence comes from action. The more you do something, the better you get. And the better you get, the more confident you feel. So if you want to make progress every day, you have to train yourself to act despite fear. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because everything you want in life exists on the other side of discomfort. Think about a rocket launching into space. It burns the most fuel in the first few minutes, breaking through the atmosphere. But once it's past that point, it moves effortlessly. That's how progress works. The hardest part is getting started. Once you push past the initial resistance, things get easier. And that's why discipline is so important. Because discipline carries you when motivation fades. Motivation is like a spark. It gets things going, but it's not enough to keep things burning. Discipline is the fuel that keeps the fire alive. Now, how do you build discipline? By keeping your word to yourself, by doing the hard things even when you don't feel like it. Every time you push through discomfort, you get stronger. You train your mind to follow through no matter what. And here's the secret. Discipline is built through repetition. The more you do something, the easier it becomes. The first time you wake up early, it's hard. The 10th time, it's easier. The 100th time, it's automatic. But what happens when you don't feel like doing something? What happens when your energy is low? When life throws distractions at you? That's when you must remove emotion from the equation. Most people let their feelings dictate their actions. If they don't feel like working out, they skip it. If they don't feel like working on their goals, they procrastinate. But successful people don't operate based on feelings. They operate based on commitment. This means you show up whether you feel like it or not. You do the work whether it's convenient or not. You take the next step whether the conditions are perfect or not. Because at the end of the day, feelings are temporary. They come and go. But results come from consistency. And consistency is about doing the right things every single day. So ask yourself, what small thing can you do today, right now, that moves you forward? Because progress isn't a one-time event. It's a habit. Progress is not about speed. It's about direction.